Welcome to Joomla Next, September 2023. We are in the 17th episode of Joomla Next. Joomla Next is a virtual event series initiated by Tech Joomla to open up a new world of possibilities through insightful sessions from thought leaders of Joomla. We aim to create a platform that connects Joomla enthusiasts to share best practices, ideas, and insights to build websites and powerful online applications with Joomla. We started this with the launch of Joomla 4.0 in the month of August 2021, and it's been an amazing journey so far. We have made it a regular event series where we discuss some insightful topics related to Joomla. Today, we are in the 17th edition of Joomla Next. We are fortunate to have leaders and domain experts across different corners of the globe, like Brian Patrick, Phil, Tim, Laura, Peter, Robbie, to name a few. More than 20 speakers from different corners of the globe have shared knowledge with the Joomla community. Today, we have with us Olivier Buisard is a French-born freelancer established in New York, USA. He has been creating websites since 1997. He is a member of the Joomla security strike team since August 2023, and he was also release manager of Joomla 4.3. Actively involved in organizing Joomla Day USA since April 2021. He specifically works on the websites and animate the bugs and fun workshop during the event. He is fully committed to building high quality extensions for Joomla community as well as providing a Joomla based web presence for his clients. Our today's topic is conditional fields, how to. Using conditional fields has been a very developer-centric feature, and since Joomla 4.3, that notion is available for custom fields. The syntax to create conditional fields may be a bit complicated to some, and this session will help you better understand how this all works. Now, I would like to hand it over to Oliver. Thank you. Welcome, Oliver. It's wonderful to have you today.
Thank you very much, Pooja. Well, you said it's all about me. I was going to do a big presentation, and all right, thank you very much. I just wanted to add and mention that I have been a release manager for Joomla 4.3 for a year now, and that time is almost over. But I didn't do it alone. I wanted to tell you that I did it with my friend Cheryl Williams, and she's been a great support and a great team member for this journey. So thank you, Cheryl. The end is near because Joomla 4.4 is coming next month. So we pass the baton to new team members, Ellen and Martin, and then Harold for and Benjamin for Joomla 5. As you told the viewers, I'm also part of the Pizza Bugs and Fun team, and I wanted to mention that the next one is coming in February. We're trying to plan on making this event pretty much every 6 months, so that we can hash all the bugs that remain before the big release. So plan on that. Next will be February, probably around the 24th. We are not set on the exact day. We're trying to make it so that people can join either on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. So we are trying to evaluate what we're going to do then. So that was for Pizza Bugs and Fun. I'm also working as a team, but on the guided tours, sorry, in Joomla, and I also mentor a student that is participating in the open source promotion plan that's organized by the Institute of Software Chinese Academy of Science. So, and as you told everybody, I'm in New York, so it's still a little early for me. So my voice is not that clear in the morning, so I apologize in advance. So we are going to talk about conditional custom fields. So what are fields, conditional fields? In the context of core Joomla, these are fields that are dependent on the state or values of other fields. When the field is dependent, it will only be available for editing and displayed if the state of the field it depends from matches the right condition. I can show you a good example, which is in the global configuration. There's something that you can be very familiar in Joomla. In this example, you can clearly see that some fields show after a cache option has been selected. So if the cache is off, there's no option. If the cache is on, you get all these extra fields that show up. So how this work internally? You can see the caching field, which is highlighted red, the first one. And you have the options and values that are available. So you have the off, conservative, and progressive. And these are value 1 and 2. The second field, the next one that was cache handler. The next one is going to show if the first field has values 1 or 2. So you can see that it's not that very complicated. It's just a matter of adding an attribute show on for a field and give it the values that it should show on for. But there are other possible combinations. I mean, a field using the show on attribute would show if, for example, a field foo would have a value 1 and a field bar would have a value 4 and 3. You could have also this combination where a field using the show on attribute would show if foo has value 1 or bar has value 3 or 4. You could have also a combination where the show attribute would show if foo had a value, any value but 1, sorry. And last one is telling that foo does not, shouldn't have any value but an empty one. So this is not terribly complicated syntax, especially if you have a little mathematic background with and or and not. Do you have a little sophisticated things about the list field? The list field would allow you to also show an option depending on a preceding field. So in this example, we have the foo field that has 3 values, editor, text, and area, and the bar field, which has 4 options, no, option 1, 2, and 3. And the option 3 is actually showing only if the foo field has values text or text area. Once again, not very complicated. This is great functionality. It's very useful, it's very user-friendly, and this looks good from a user's perspective. The fields show they are getting hidden depending on the shown attribute. But in the background, even though you don't see a field or a value in a dropdown, the values of the hidden fields are still recorded. They are not emptied or ignored. The developer, when processing the values, needs to make sure the field values are evaluated properly, so that, for instance, when the Joomla cache is set to off, the code won't take into account the hidden values of the cache settings. But it's all good because values are tested in the code, it's in a controlled environment, and that prevents mistakes. So it's not too much big of a deal. So you're going to tell me, why do you need to know all of this? Because you just use the functionality, it's seamless to you as the end user, so it doesn't matter. Well, it's because since Joomla 4.3, as an end user, Now you have access to this attribute when creating custom fields. So let's see how it works in Joomla for that tree. So I have my browser here, and I do have created two fields. I have created a type field that is allowing me to select a range of vehicles. Like I want to have in this field, I have a car, a truck, and a bicycle. This is the custom field that I created for my article. And I created a conditional field, and this field is a text field. And this is the registration number, which will only be available if I have a car or a truck selected. So my shown attribute, which is now available in 4.3, is going to take the name of the field, which is type, and is going to show only if I have a car or a truck selected. So how does it work at the field, at the article level? And this works seamlessly in the backend or in the front end. Let's see, I'm going to select the category blog and select this article, welcome to your blog. I added my fields to a group vehicle, so that since it's in a group, it shows in a tab. So my vehicle tab shows the type and with all the possible selections, car, truck, and bicycle. And if I select car, I get my registration number. If I select bicycle, I don't have anything because I told the field not to show for bicycle, but only for car and truck. So then I can enter my register number value if I want to as a car. If I save, I go to my blog, and in my field, in my article, I will see the type car with the registration number. So that works perfectly fine. What happens then for subforms? Subforms are fields that are a little more complicated. I'm going to show you an example. I created a group vehicles with all my subform fields in them. So what I have is the same kind of field. I created a form which allows me to register several vehicles at the same time. So just not just one. So I have my tab field, the same. I have all my options, car, truck, bicycle. And I have my registration number field. And this time is gonna be a little different because when I'm in a subform, the fields change name. So it's a little confusing at first, but it's very easy to understand. We just have to make sure that we know that the type field is as value ID 5. That's all we need to know. So now if I go to my registration number and I go to the options, I can say, okay, I'm going to use field 5 and not type. And I'm going to show it if I have car or truck. This is pretty much it. I close it. Now, if I go to my article, and I can go to my blog, and I have my subform, which is empty right now. I can add a type of vehicle. Let's say I add a car. I give it a registration number. And let's say I want to add a bicycle. I save. Now, when I go to my blog, I should see my subform vehicles, which has a car and a registration number. and a bicycle. So that's all work very fine right now. I mean, it's seamless, it's great for the user. You can start creating forms that are a little more sophisticated. But there's a little issue here. If I go back to my vehicle, if I want to change my value to bicycle, I have hidden my field. Perfect. I save. What happens in the front end? I refresh my page and I see my type bicycle, but I also see my registration number from the previous value. So that's not that great. What happens is that when I use bicycle, I switch from car, but I didn't empty the registration number field. So right now, for it to work, I would have to empty it manually and go back to my bicycle and save to have a value that shows properly in the front end. So now we have the power of creating more sophisticated form, but there's a little issue here is that if people make mistake and change values and switch between values and save, you may end up with forms at the end that, I mean, the output that may not relate to what you want. Let's see if I do also the same thing with my subform. If I say, okay, my first car, I want to make it a bicycle as well. So let's say I have two bicycles. I save. Now, if I go to the front end, I see that I have two bicycles, but I still have my registration number. So you're telling me, well, it's great, but it's not very fully working yet, doesn't it? It's a little problem here. Well, and that's where I need your help. I created a fix for this issue, but this has to be tested. I have this solution I've created on GitHub. It's a PR that you can look at. It's PR number 41693. If you're into GitHub stuff, if you have an account, you can go in there, check my proposal, and you can look at all the checks that are in there, and you can download the fix. If you go to the download button, you check on details, and this will give you the page where you can download the fix. You install it on the test environment, on the on your local system, for example, or live on the test environment. You just install it as a Joomla instance, and you'll be able to see the results. I'm gonna switch the code that I created, switch on the code that I created to make this work. All right. I just change a little something in the code, and now I go back to my form. I'm just going to close it because to avoid the side effects. Let's say I'm going to about your own page, and I create a new instance of that field. I have the car field. I can enter a number in it. So I have my registration number. Let's see what it does look like in the front end. It's about your home page. So, okay, I have my type car. I have my registration number FFF. All right. I decide to change that value to bicycle. I save. I go back to my blog. I switch. I see my type bicycle, and I no longer have my registration number. What happens is that when I saved, I emptied the field in perspective. So now if I'm changing values on save, the values that are hidden are unselected and are just disappear, are hidden and are not saved in a database anymore. So now when you go to the front end, you get the right values. Same thing goes to with the subform. I have a car, I put a number in it. I have a bicycle. I have a truck, and I give it a number as well. I save and see that I get the right values in the front end. So I have my types, car, bicycle, and truck. And let's say I change my first car to another bicycle. I save. And when I go back to the blog, I do get the right values. They are all type bicycle. And then if I go back to car, for example, I can see that my registration number has been emptied out. So that's what's happening with the fix. So I'm hoping that this will be accepted and will be available. It should be coming in Joomla 5. It won't be coming to any previous versions of 5. So you're going to tell me now, well, I already use show on my forms. How can I get a fix for that? Well, I created a little alternative, a little version that would work, that would work for the end user. It won't fix the issues with the database where the values are saved, but it will allow you at least to show the right values to the users. Basically, I have a little solution, a little workaround that is overriding some views, like the field views and the contact views and the subform views. And by doing so, you can hide then the values that are supposed to show. I have written a little article. So if you go to Simplify Your Web, I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see. This article will explain how you can fix the issue for 4.3 and 4.4 actually. If you use that issue, that feature shown, that will allow you to download the little library that has some of the code that's going to be part of Joomla, and it will explain to you how you can create the layout overrides that you need to have to make this work seamlessly to the user. I mean, he won't fix the database, but at least he will fix the output to the user. So what I'm going to show you very quick, since I have a little time, it's very simple. You just go to System, Site Template Styles, and you go into your own template. You go to the files. You go to create overrides. If you have created overrides before, you know it's very familiar to you. You go to the layouts, and there is a layout for the COM fields. If you click on the fields layout, you're gonna get. I've already created it, so I'm not gonna create it again, but it will show up in the layout here in the HTML folder of your template. You will have the render.php file that will show, and it's just a matter of adding 4 lines of code. You can see it there highlighted in green in the render.php for the fields. You also do the same thing if you're using custom fields and the shown attribute. If you use it in your forms that people send through emails, you may want to then get the fields from contact, which deals with what is sent out with your email. So you create the override and you go back to the code. Same thing, you go to the fields, contact fields, render.php. You add 4 lines of code. And then for the subforms, it's a little different. For the subforms, you need to create an override from the plugin. So you go to fields, there is a subform plugin here. You override this one. And you go to the editor and you have your PLG fields subforms, which is the plugin for the subform. And you have subform.php, same thing. You have just a few lines of code to add. And it's all explained in the article. So if you go to simplifyyourweb.com, you can see what you can add in those layouts. And there is also a little library that you install that you can use. This is something that's easily undo. You can easily undo. So you just uninstall the library and you remove your overrides once the functionality is in Joomla 5, sorry, and that you should be good to go with that. So this is about what I can say about those custom fields. I hope you were able to, I was able to portray it and make you understand how show on attribute works. That's it for me. If you have any questions.
So we don't have any questions right now in the live chat. So maybe let's wait for a few minutes, I guess.
All right. So I wanted to, I'm just going to give the show the PR number. Let's see. I have all these windows open. It's hard to figure out which one to use. Okay, this one, it's the address for the fix that needs testing. If you have been part of PBF before, if you have a GitHub account, feel free to test the pull request that I have created, so that we see if that's something that we can get included in Joomla 5 as a fix. I think it's very important because it the perceptions the users have now is that the functionality is there, it's working, but as you can see in the background, there's still this issue that all the values are saved into the database, and that can lead to errors down the road, since now we're not in a control environment like we were in the code of Joomla. Now that everybody can use that field, there is more responsibility to what shows and what you can do with those fields. So it's very important to understand the implications of this. Is there anything else you would like me to show you on about the attributes?
So Oliver, could you share the GitHub link? So let's maybe paste in the YouTube live chat for everyone's reference. That would be helpful.
Yeah. This functionality is not very difficult to understand once you have tried it a couple of times. It's just a matter of knowing the name of the fields, because if you are, let me go back to my my browser. If you are in the fields environment, you want to make sure that you create your fields in a way that the name that shows here, this is something, it's a name that needs to be, first of all, it needs to be unique. And this is a code name here, but like in the Joomla context, it's more like an alias. You know, it's something that's unique to a field. That's something that you can get a link to thanks to that field. So either the name or the ID are very important in the context of a field in Joomla. So, and especially that now that if you have a shown attribute, if you use a shown attribute, then it becomes inherently important that you need to know the name of the field, and then not the field that shows for the user, but the name, the internal name. And you need to know the values. Same thing, it's important that you create values in a logical way. For example, the type here as values car, truck, and bicycle. And then in your data, the value that shows in the database is going to be the value. So it's going to be car, truck, or bicycle. I could have used 1, 2, or 3 instead, but it doesn't really tell me any information about which values has been selected. So it's always good if you do something that makes sense, so that when you want to go through the values of a field, you know what you're dealing with. If I have 1 and 2 and 3, I need to know what's the field doing. If I say car, truck, and bicycle is a value, all lowercase, in one word, I know what it's going to be. I know what the value is going to be, and it's going to make it much easier when you create the registration number and select the shown values. You know that these are values that are very explicit to you, very easy to understand, better than just 1, 2, or 3. The only difficulty really is when you create subforms and you have to deal with the field IDs instead of the field names, but that's a very subtle difference. It shouldn't throw you off too much. It's just a matter of using the field name plus the ID, and that's it. I raced through, I think, this presentation, so that's why I'm a little early. I apologize for that. I hope I didn't go too fast for you. My voice is still okay, I guess.
So Olivier, we have one question in the live chat. So Eric has asked, like, do you think that one day we'll be able to make conditional fields dependent on other conditional fields? Something like if, else, if.
I don't know. It's the thing is, this is a little complicated thing. This is dealt through JavaScript when you are in the front end. When you do, I mean, when you're in a form, it's dealt through JavaScript, and it probably be possibilities, but you already can do things that are a little more complicated. I could have, let's see if I go to my registration number here, I could have 2 different fields. I could have field 5, and then let's see, I have the field 7 that exists. I could say, okay, I would have field 5 and field 7 as a requirement, and let's say my field 7 is what is color. I'm going to say white. So already I can do little things that are sophisticated like this. Field 5, car track, like so. My conditional field will show if the field 5 is a car or a truck, and if field 7 is white, and I can add other ones too. I mean, I'm not stuck with just one. I can keep going and mix and match my conditions here. One thing we didn't tackle here is that you could have a field giving some values, and depending on those values, populate another field with values. So that, let's say I want to only show in the conditional field the IDs of articles, and then my first field would be select the category, and I would get the category from my first field, and then I would populate my second field with only the articles from that category. So these are things that can be done. It's been done in the wild. I know it's been done for extensions and some this requires a little more work, because you need some Ajax calls and things that are a little more complicated to put together. It's not unsurmountable. It's something that can be done, but at the user level, it's really. I mean, you really need to be a developer to be able to function with these kind of fields. These are all the fields that could be that happen in the wild, but as far as having you could have a selection of, you can show a field, and then it depends on the previous field, and then the second field, the third field depends on the second field. That's something you can do. It's definitely something doable. I hope I answered the question. I don't know if I.
So Eric has commented like that's the point, like a value depending on a previous value depending on condition.
Yeah, does that answer the question, or?
Yes, it does answer the question. Yeah.
Okay.
So Eric has like replied like, thank you for the answer.
Yeah, because I don't see the feed, so I don't read the comments. Yes, what can I?
Sergey, like if I'm pronouncing it right, he has asked like a second field with not. I think he'll need to elaborate on his question. So Olivia, like I had one question. So like, is there like a detailed documentation for these conditional fields anywhere available? Like if we need to study in detail, that would be helpful.
Yeah, there is a little documentation. If you go to the Joomla help, I don't know if I can show that. I don't know if it's going to show it on my screen on the share. No, that's not what I wanted to do. If you go to the help, oh no, it doesn't show. Wow. If you go to the help of that screen if you want on the field, if you go to the help, you're gonna have a window that opens, and if you go down and go all the way to the show on attribute, there's a little documentation on how to use it. Let's see if I could switch. Maybe I can switch the. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I was hoping I would be able to show you. Well, the documentation has all the information about how you can use the show on attribute, and this documentation is going to be complemented. It's not final, but it already has big. Shows you already pretty much everything I explained to you today. And if you look at the developer documentation, or see if you're curious and look at the developer documentation, you can, if you go to the fields section of the documentation, you'll see also documentation about the different values and things you can do with the show on attribute. Any other questions?
We don't have any other questions in the live chat. So let's wait for a few minutes because we might have we might get some questions. So
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, if you want to learn how to help test issues that there are in Joomla, just come to any of the Pizza Bugs and Friends sessions that we now gonna have every 6 months. This is a great way of learning how Joomla works and help the community, complement the documentation or help test issues that have been resolved. And this is a great way of meeting people and getting in touch with the community. Pizza Bugs and Fun really helps you in the end, because as we get a better Joomla, we get a better experience, creating websites. So that's very important. So if you already participated, yeah, don't hesitate to look at my PR and see if that's fixed, would be something that's acceptable for the next release.
but thanks,
Actually,
Olivier.
our
So,
team
our team
will love to participate and contribute. Sorry, Ami, you were saying the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. So our team would love to participate and contribute Joomla PVF event. So if you can maybe share more details for the upcoming event, we'll be able to participate and contribute.
Yeah. You see the other questions in the live feed?
So there are no any other questions. So I guess maybe Pooja, we can conclude. And if you have any other questions, maybe in the edited YouTube video for the session, will be.
I mean, you're very welcome to contact me. I'm on Mattermost as well. So if you create an account on Mattermost, you can join the Joomla community and ask questions and be present in there. And it's if you have issues, I mean, people are very helpful. So you can find me, ask me questions, and I definitely will answer you.
So Jan Sanders has commented that it would be a good plan to organize PBF every 6 months.
Yeah, it's a great idea that came mostly from Benjamin Tranquil, who got involved in this revival of the Pizza Bugs and Fun, and then he thought it was important that we have it regularly so that we can really test the new releases and make sure that they are bug free and great release for everyone.
Okay, thanks, Olivier. So I guess Pooja, we can conclude with the closing remarks.
All right.
Thank you, Oliver, for joining Joomla Next and delivering an interesting and insightful session on Joomla for developers. It was a pleasure to host you, and we look forward to speaking more often with you in these forums. Thanks to our lovely audience for joining in. We really appreciate you all taking time today to hear us and be a part of our Joomla Next series. Please stay tuned with the social media handles of Tech Joomla. Do visit our website to know more about our products and offerings. Thanks a lot. Look forward to many more of these events.
Thank you.
I I think there's one more request. If you can share the GitHub link.
Yes.
If you can share the GitHub link over here on the chat box, maybe then Ame can post it on the comment section.
The link of what, the PR or the?
Yes, the PR that you had highlighted during one of the slides.
Yes, the PR you can see is
Oh, this one, yeah.
yeah, you go on GitHub and then go to the Joomla projects, Joomla CMS, and the pull request is number 41693. I mean, if you look for custom field or fix or something like that, you'll find if you do a search, you'll find it easily. And note that if you test it, you're gonna have to be under Joomla 5. Which is a great way to test Joomla 5 too.
Thanks, Oliver. Just commented like the PR 41693 in the live chat. So yeah, it will be like helpful for like all the Joomlas, take a look at it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for letting me show you that.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
It's been a wonderful session. Thank you for